In May of 2022, thousands of people woke up to discover that the money they had spent their entire lives saving was gone. No hackers, no robbery, no war. They gave the money away themselves, into something they believed was safe. Some lost their retirement savings. Some lost the money from selling their homes. Some lost everything they had. And the worst part was, most of them were not gamblers. They weren't trying to become billionaires. They didn't dream about yachts or private jets. They just wanted to stop being afraid of the future. This is the story of Terra Luna and the ordinary people who believed they had finally found a safe way to escape financial fear.
His name was Michael, 58 years old, an engineer. Not poor, but never truly wealthy either. Just ordinary. The same drive every morning, the same old Ford, the same coffee on the way to work, for almost 30 years. Michael worked at the same company. He had a wife, 2 grown children, a mortgage that somehow never seemed to disappear, and one thought that kept getting louder as he got older. What if retirement never really comes? Because the world was changing. Prices kept rising, inflation kept rising, and the money he had spent decades saving suddenly no longer felt safe. Late at night, Michael sometimes sat alone in the kitchen, just him, a cold cup of coffee, a calculator, and the low hum of the refrigerator in the dark. He would sit there quietly, trying to calculate how many more years his body could keep doing this, how many more years his back could handle the work, how much money a person actually needs just to stop being afraid. Sometimes Michael opened Google Maps and looked at small houses in Florida. Nothing luxurious. A quiet street, palm trees, a small porch, a peaceful life. He never told anyone about it, but somewhere deep inside, Michael had already started imagining a future where he no longer had to wake up at 6 in the morning. A future where life finally became quiet. And that was exactly when the internet began offering people a new kind of hope. Crypto. At first, Michael dismissed it completely. To him, it sounded like internet nonsense for young tech guys. But slowly, something started changing. Stories started appearing everywhere: YouTube, TikTok, Reddit. People investing a few $1,000s and becoming millionaires. Co-workers discussing Bitcoin during lunch breaks. And one day, even Michael's son told him, "Dad, you just don't understand. This is the future." And slowly, fear started turning into hope. Maybe he really was missing out. One evening, Michael's son sent him a link. Terra Luna UST. Anchor Protocol. It's not like regular crypto, his son explained. It's safe, almost like a savings account, except instead of 1%, it pays nearly 20% a year. 20%. At first, Michael didn't believe it. It sounded too good. But the more he researched, the more convincing everything became. Beautiful apps, modern interfaces, confident founders, millions of users, and most importantly, the feeling that the rest of the world had already discovered something new, and he was still standing outside. For the first time in years, Michael stopped feeling fear. He started imagining retirement, traveling with his wife, a life without overtime, a life without constantly worrying about money. And for the first time in a very long time, Michael sometimes smiled on his way to work. By 2021, the crypto market had become something close to a gold rush. TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, everywhere people talked about money. But there was one major problem. Crypto was still considered dangerous. Bitcoin could crash 30% in a single day. Meme coins exploded and disappeared overnight. And then came an idea that sounded almost perfect. A stablecoin. A digital currency designed to always stay worth $1. No violent crashes, no terrifying volatility. Safe. At least, that's how it looked. And this is where Terra entered the story. The project looked modern, sophisticated, legitimate. But the most powerful thing wasn't the technology, it was the promise. Nearly 20% a year, without banks, without Wall Street, without complexity. Just deposit your money and watch it grow. To ordinary people, it sounded like a miracle. Banks offered 1 or 2%. Terra offered nearly 20. And that was the real danger. Because when people spend enough time fearing the future, they become especially vulnerable to anything promising simple relief. Terra never pointed a gun at anyone, never forced anyone to invest. It promised something far more dangerous. Relief, a way to stop worrying, a way to finally sleep peacefully at night. There's an old rule in investing that people constantly forget. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is. But by then, millions of people already wanted to believe. And wanting to believe can be very dangerous. At first, Michael invested only a small amount, $5,000, just to test it. And in the beginning, everything looked perfect. Every day, the app showed profits. Slowly, consistently. The balance kept growing. Within weeks, Michael started checking the app every morning, before work, before bed, and for the first time in years, he felt like money was finally working for him. Not for the bank, not for the system, for him. Online, people posted things like, "This changed my life. I'm retiring early. Banks are dead." And slowly, Michael's caution started disappearing. He began calculating. If he invested more, maybe he really could retire early. Maybe the fear would finally disappear. And then came the night. Michael would replay in his mind again and again. 2:17 in the morning, a dark kitchen, the glow of a laptop screen, the cursor hovering over the transfer button, his retirement savings, the money from selling an old family property, almost his entire life. Michael hesitated for only a few seconds. Silence, the hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the kitchen clock. And then he clicked the button. One click. That changed everything. And the terrifying part was, Michael did not feel reckless. He felt responsible. Like a man finally making the right financial decision. Because everywhere online, people kept saying the same thing. This is the future. This is safe. The system works. And while everyone is making money, nobody wants to hear about risk. One evening, Michael's wife quietly asked him, "Are you sure this is safe?" Michael answered immediately, too quickly. "Yeah, of course." But somewhere deep inside, even he wasn't completely sure anymore. The problem with systems like this is that they only work as long as people believe they work. Sometimes, all it takes is one crack, one moment of doubt, one wave of panic. And in the spring of 2022, something started changing. The crypto market was already falling. Investors were nervous. Money was leaving the system. And then people noticed something strange. UST. The so-called stablecoin stopped holding its price. At first, it didn't seem serious. 99 cents, then 98, then 95. Online, people tried calming each other down. Everything is fine. It'll recover. This is temporary. But fear spreads faster than reassurance. At first, the numbers barely moved. 1 cent, then another. People online laughed. Relax, buy the dip. Everything is under control. But somewhere deep inside, Michael felt something strange. The kind of feeling people get seconds before a car crash. And then, the system started collapsing. People rushed to withdraw their money, but the more they withdrew, the faster everything fell apart. UST kept falling. 90 cents, 80, 70, 50, 30. That night, Michael barely slept. He sat in front of his laptop, refreshing the page over and over again. The only sound in the apartment was the clicking of the refresh key. At first, his savings dropped to $120,000, then 90, then 60, then 20. And by morning, almost all of it was gone. Michael just sat there in the dark, staring at the screen, trying to understand how the money from his entire life could disappear in just a few hours. Online, panic exploded. Reddit, Twitter, Discord, thousands of desperate messages. Please, tell me this will recover. This is my retirement money. I'm 61 years old. What am I supposed to do now? But the worst part wasn't the charts. It was the silence. When Michael walked into the kitchen that morning, he didn't know how to tell his wife that almost all their money was gone. And when he finally told her, she didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't say anything at all. She just sat there silently, staring at the table. And somehow, that silence felt worse than panic. Because just 1 week earlier, everything had looked perfect. When it was over, tens of billions of dollars had disappeared. But the numbers were never the real tragedy. The real tragedy happened quietly, inside homes, at kitchen tables, inside families. People told their spouses the money was gone. Some canceled retirement plans. Some went back to work. Some sold property. A few months later, Michael started taking 12-hour shifts again, at 58 years old. The retirement he had imagined for years suddenly felt very far away again. Sometimes late at night, he still opened the old app, even though almost nothing was left. Just to look at the numbers. That once felt like the beginning of a new life. Today, Terra Luna has become a symbol of one of the biggest financial collapses in crypto history. But behind the charts, behind the means, behind the billions that vanished, it's easy to forget one simple thing. Every number represented a person. An ordinary person. Someone who worked, saved, sacrificed, and simply wanted to stop being afraid of poverty one day. But Michael's biggest mistake wasn't believing in crypto. It was putting too much of his life into something he didn't fully understand. Not just money, but years, hope, his future. And maybe the cruelest rule in investing is one people usually learn too late. Never invest what you cannot afford to lose. Because sometimes, the most dangerous financial disasters do not begin with greed. They begin with hope. The very human hope that somewhere out there must finally be a safe way to stop being afraid of the future.
In May of 2022, Terra Luna and UST collapsed within days. More than $40 billion in market value disappeared. Thousands of investors around the world lost retirement savings, homes, and life savings. The collapse triggered panic across the entire crypto market. South Korean authorities later opened criminal investigations into Terraform Labs. Terra founder Do Kwon was accused of fraud and financial crimes. In March of 2023, Do Kwon was arrested in Montenegro while allegedly attempting to travel with falsified documents. Multiple countries later requested his extradition. For many investors, the financial damage was permanent. Some returned to work after retirement. Some lost homes and savings accumulated over decades. And many are still trying to recover from what happened. Sometimes financial disasters do not begin with greed. Sometimes they begin with hope.